At 35, most people are looking for, I don't want to say a real job, but they give up on their dreams. And I just, really, I thought I was at that point, but I knew that that's something I could probably book and get back into and just to make some money at the time. And it opened it up. I mean, and I haven't looked back, and I was, like I said, once I came back to my hometown in Virginia, I was able to just do this since 2019 full time. I've been fortunate. And I can't say there's been, there's luck, availability, so many. I mean, it's not merit based. This whole thing with acting, it's not, you can't like, oh yeah, we're just going to work hard and get in. No, there's too many elements. No, at all. It's like there's so many. Does he have the right look? What's going on here? I mean, yeah. I mean, it's impossible. I mean, I don't.
I mean, working hard is sort of the baseline, obvious thing everybody should be doing anyway,
Yeah.
regardless of what you're trying to do with your life. But none of that other stuff will matter if you're not working hard. So you might get lucky and meet the person who's casting. But if you haven't been working on your craft, if you haven't been doing things, other things, like all the pieces have to kind of fall into the right place. And it takes an enormous mental stamina to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. Even at this point for me right now, I'm thinking to myself, you know what, this year I'm looking at my board and I've filmed 10 parts, but I've probably booked around 15. And that's great, right? But I still feel this sense of like, man, I'm not doing enough because I'm at, I was telling my wife this, I'm at a certain level, right? But I keep booking things on the same level. How do I make that next leap?
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing. So again, I'm just trying to secure myself as a working actor. Being famous or doing this, making a lot of money, I don't know that
never should be the goal.
That's not going to be great, right?
That never should be the goal.
Yeah, I love. It's changed, but it's changed for me because out of college, I'm like, oh God, I'd love to be famous. And then a few years later, I was like, oh, I want to make a bunch of money. But now I do it for me. It is the craft, right? It's funny how that changes because it becomes like this is my release. This is my outlet. This is making art. I don't want to say heals me, but it allows me to be me.
Yeah.
And nowhere else can I do that.
Well, I mean, that's sort of been kind of my trajectory mentally as well. Is I started out wanting to do stupid comedies, maybe with a tinge of a tongue-in-cheek, wittiness. But for the most part, it was comedy, and then it was dumb action, leaning towards the patriotic. But then I moved to New York, and I slowly became really philosophical about everything. I started detaching myself from the cultural bubble I'd been brought up in and started seeing how powerful this medium is that we both work in and what really could be done if we weren't influenced by this drive to make as much money as possible. And I ended up going back to school in my mid-30s. That's when I got my BA and my MFA back to back. I was in my 30s, bro.
I didn't actually know that. Oh.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
I have to start paying it off in January. But
you gotta defer, forbearance and defer.
Yeah, well, I've been there. They're getting tired of that. But
right.
Once I went through my 30s, that's when a lot of the work that was most meaningful to me really started coming out, starting with Death and Life, which is a film most people won't watch, but that's okay.
No.
Highly philosophical.
That was your film. That's what.
It was my film, and I would have never been able to make it without that journey. And then Fractals, which you auditioned for.
Yeah.
And
which is a great film, by the way.
Thank you.
I mean, I love the trailer. I mean, I love, it's not out yet, I don't think, right?
No, next year. Yeah. Whatever happens, it'll be out next year. Yeah. But then also like we're going to be collaborating on some projects.
Sure.
And the first one that I'm still writing for you was meant to just be a tongue-in-cheek monster movie, but I'm not happy with tongue-in-cheek. So it starts taking longer because I'm developing it and integrating, making it more meaningful to me. I'm integrating all of these philosophical ideas about, well, what makes a monster?
Yeah.
Like that's the
Yeah.
question that I'm
Right.
asking myself as I'm writing this monster movie that's just supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to know, why is something horrific?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why is
Yeah.
something scary?
Sure. Yeah.
And what does that mean for the monster? And so, if you're wondering what the status of that monster movie is, it's
I get
me
it.
trying
It's
to
not.
negotiate
Right.
around these
Where do you
philosophical
stand?
questions. Yes.
Yeah, which is great. We put a lot of layers and elements to the monster.
Yeah. And so, man, I would have never, ever taken this long to develop anything in
Yeah.
my 20s. Are you
No, sure.
kidding?
Commercial, right? Get it
Yeah,
out.
it was all about
Here's your points. Hit
commercialism
it. Yeah. Yeah.
and also making a monster movie would have been, if I had made it in my like late teens, early 20s, it would have been about making a
Everybody
goofball
else.
movie.
Right. Sure.
Yeah. Evil Dead or whatever. I
Right.
don't know if you ever saw that,
Oh
but
yeah, I did.
oh yeah, yeah. We
Wasn't
just
bad.
watched it for the first time, like
Oh wow.
yeah, in
Yeah.
October. I never
Yeah.
watched them. They're really weird.
Yeah. They were out for that time. They were out. You know,
Yeah.
full following. So
But I don't know. Yeah, I love this idea though. If you stick with it, you'll never know what kind of projects you'll end up doing